This episode of the Flush Podcast is brought to you by Onyx Hunt, Walton's, Hoxie Native Seeds, the Minnesota Horse and Hunt Club, HuntFishSD.com, Rufflin Kennels, Black Gold Dog Food, and by Game Virtual Shooting Simulators. Today we're talking about summer bird dog training, field trials, hunt tests, and more with Greg Blair, the sporting dog manager at Purina. Greg has lived a rich life in the bird dog world, walking side by side with some of the most well-respected dog trainers in the world, and of course, they're championship caliber bird dogs. What does it take to reach the pinnacle with your bird dog? We're about to find out. Welcome to another episode of the Flush Podcast. I am your host, Travis Frank. Big Al is our producer. Greg Blair is our guest. Greg is a sporting dog manager at Purina. Greg, no foreplay today. We're just going to jump right into it.
We should stop saying that.
Why? No, we're not going to stop saying that. So the last week's episode, I happened to read a comment from somebody that I thought was funny because they said it took 23 minutes before I finally got around to the whole point, because we like to tell fun stories. What have we been up to this week? But nobody's going to find out what I've been up to, and they certainly aren't going to find out what Al's been up to. So we're going to jump right into it. Greg, you just returned from Alabama, right?
Yes, I did. And I, like I said, I got to binge listen to most of your episodes. We're not going to talk about turkey hunting or the one that got away or your
No.
Okay.
No.
I heard them all.
And we're not going to talk about fishing league last night with my son. Okay. No, we're not going to talk about
I still think you
third
read
place.
that wrong, just so you know. But if you don't want to talk about third place, that's fine. But I still think you read that comment wrong. I think he was just saying that guy.
Or I shouldn't bring up Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, don't bring them up. Well, the Avalanche did just
we
get
have hockey
clean.
here in Wisconsin, so I can do it.
The Avalanche did just get clean swept by the Golden Knights, so it feels a little bit better.
Well, Greg, so you listened to the conversation about George that I had with George Lyle, because you texted me after you were done listening to it. And did you know that George was a hockey player before he got into the bird dogs?
I don't know if I knew that for sure. It reinforced something I thought I knew, but no, I didn't know it to that extent. But he was here in Whitewater. So, I mean, playing club with hockey with them in Hayden, Illinois, that's still a good thing. That's a very good thing.
Well, and I asked him the question right off the top, if you weren't a bird dog training fool, what would you do in life? And he said, I'd probably be a hockey player. So Greg, if same question to you.
What?
If you weren't a bird dog training, hunt test, field trial, and hunting fool, what would you be in life?
I don't know. Well, my degree is actually in graphic design and commercial art. So I'd think I'd still be in the ad agency. I love that fast-paced ad work kind of stuff. So I'd probably still stay there. I don't have any dreams of being something different. I love the outdoors. Maybe I'll just be a hobby farmer and live off my wife's income. But
that sounds tempting, doesn't it? Well, you are the sporting dog manager at Purina. What does that mean, and what does it look like on a day-to-day?
So I'm one of the sporting dog managers on our team. I cover all the bird dog, pointing dog sponsorships in the country for Pro Plan. We have another gentleman, Ray Vogt, who covers all the retriever and the herding sponsorships. And then we have another gentleman, Mark Cassio, on the sporting dog team that covers the hounds, the canines, and that. So there are three managers. My focus is the pointing dog segment, the bird dogs.
So which is the largest?
Well, if you go by, that's tough. If you go by numbers, if you go by how much the dogs cost, if you go by, there are a lot of hounds and a lot of beagles, but there's a lot of money in the retrievers. I think the bird dogs are kind of in the middle, the sweet spot. Okay. So we all have our different thumbprint on the whole segment of sporting dogs. Well, but the labs are the number one dog in the country. So you would think the labs, but man, those beagle guys, they'll have kennels full of of beagles. I mean, they're smaller, so you can keep more,
Sure. But what are they doing with all of them?
Competing. I mean, there are beagle coonhound events all over the country, through the Missouri Valley, up through Ohio. I mean, it's amazing. And I only know a little bit about this, and I'll be real quick about it. I mean, for instance, they'll come to like the World Nationals. They'll give away Ford F-150s and dog boxes, and I mean, tens of thousands of dollars on certain, final casts or whatever. The top dog will get 10,000. The next dog will get 7,500. But the entry fees are a lot higher. So, but they have competitions all over the country, just like we do in the pointing dog world.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same in all of those. Herding just finished the Soldier Hollow Classic out in, that's Colorado, I believe. Or no, Utah? Soldier Hollow, and they have them from all over the world. They're coming with their border collies and herding sheep, and it's amazing. Those dogs are really cool.
I'm fascinated by it. What does that look like when they have these events, the herding competitions? Can you kind of paint us a picture?
Real quick. So I was there 2 or 3 years ago, and what they do is they take a semi-load of sheep, and this is, I'm sure I'm going to be incorrect, but they'll take them to the top of what I call a mountain, a bluff, a hillside. It looks like a small ski hill, and they'll just pasture them up there at the top. And I'm up with my dog at the bottom of the hill. They'll let 5 sheep out of that pasture and just sit there at the top of the hill, and they'll just sit there grazing. I've got to send my border collie up the hill on the left. You can't go right up at them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm up to the top. And now you whistle and talk to them, and you work your dog and you push them down to you. You got to go through some gates. You got to come through the bottom. You got to turn left. You got to go up through a gate. You got to circle them back around, and you got to bring them to you. And you got to finish. And I say a gate like a ski gate. You go through it. You have to finish in like a 10 by 10 pen. The door's open. Your dog has to put those 10 or those 5 sheep into that pen. You got to close the pen, and I'm pretty sure it's timed, but it's judged too. So anyway, it's sending the dog up, bringing the 5 down, putting them through some gates, putting them in a pen. And I mean, you're whistling, you're talking, you're, commanding them. But just like you see, if you ever see videos of dog ranches using the border collies out in the West, bring cattle in.
Yep.
That's what they're doing. And I'm pretty sure on this, those border collies are best bringing the sheep to you. Well, what they show, they're not used to sending the sheep away from you. So that part of the turn it can get real tricky on letting that dog, commanding it to push those sheep, getting back around and bringing them back to you. So anyway,
yeah, because you're not going up there with them, so they have to.
And those high pitched whistles, come by and away is left and right, and then down, and so it's really cool. That's the segment I don't even touch.
Wow. I'm fascinated by that because you just have to put yourself in the middle of a massive pasture in a mountainside, and your dog has to know exactly where to go when, and you're given those commands.
Yeah.
I just think about different, you talked about the beagle side of it too. And then we live in the pointing dog, sporting dog side of it. There's a retriever side of it. There's so many smart dogs out there. Do you think how long have you been in this world now?
I started at Purina in 2015. I've had a pointing dog since 98.
Okay. What in all these years, is there one dog that you can look at and say, just based on what you can teach it, that is the smartest dog out there that God ever created?
I don't know. I think someone like Carl, who might have more experience, the border collies are smart. I'll tell you, and I think Michael might have said it from Second Chance Bird Dogs. The short hair, my first dog was a short hair.
Uh-huh.
It was the best dog. I knew nothing about training dogs, and I didn't even train the dog, but I learned so much behind that dog. I still recommend that dog for a first-time pointing dog buyer. Look at the short hair.
GSP.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But as far as quote unquote smartest, there's probably a dog that's not I hate to say it, a sporting dog or a hunting dog. It's probably really, really, those Malinois, when you get in the canines and what they can do and what the scent, every dog is amazing. I mean, and I don't think we even tap into, half of what those dogs can offer us. between their nose and their knowledge and their smarts, and those great trainers bring that all out in them.
Have you ever been to any of the Westminster show or anything like that?
No, and we were talking. No, I don't. And we have another team. So I just explained what our three guys are plus Carl. We have another team on the breeder enthusiast group that just covers the confirmation and the show. So, we love our dogs. They love their dogs. So it's like a total difference. But there again, they're supporting those top trainers and those top breeders. But no, I've never been to one.
Let's talk a little bit about what it looks like financially to reach the very pinnacle of field trials in any of these different sectors. I mean, you certainly know the pointing dog world, but some of these dogs, I mean, we're talking many thousands of dollars. Can you say what is the most expensive dog that you've ever heard of being purchased in this world?
I'll just talk from, again, the retrievers are out of my league, out of my pay schedule, out of my pay rate. So I could talk on the pointing dog circuit. They're selling 2 and 3 year old or 2-year-old, what we call derbies. When they're past 2-year-olds, they're adult dogs. But if you get a derby that's really good, even a year-old, you're talking $20,000-$25,000 for one that's going to win at the top, all-age top shooting dog level. The level that I run in personally, the walking segment, the cover dog segment, you won't see that kind of money for those types of dogs because there are more in that pool that can play the walking game or the cover dog game. But when someone says, hey, I've got an all-age prospect, which is the top biggest running dog of the, fire breathing dragon. Yeah, I mean, a young dog can go for 20, 25,000. And a lot of them that are sold, you never hear how much they're sold for.
Sure. Nobody's going to tell you that. No. There's only two people that know that, right? The buyer and the seller.
And the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. Some guy will say he paid X amount, and some guy will say he sold it for X amount. But and honestly, I mean, they're live breathing animals. I mean, they can get hit by a car the next day. I mean, you're investing in something that can go away or not pan out. So you're gambling, you're playing the game, and you're hoping it's going to pan out. Now, is there money in field trialing? No. I mean,
it's a losing proposition from the moment you write the first check.
I'm sure you do it for the love of the game, and we might be going down a tangent we got to circle back on, but the pros make money. They got a good business model. They have so many dogs on their truck. They're winning purses, and they get paid per month per the dog and handling fees, yes. But as an amateur for myself, I do it for the love of the game. If I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be golfing and spending a lot of money on golf. And going through a set of clubs every 2 or 3 years, like I go through dogs every couple of years, so you can spend a lot of money on a hobby that I love. It's a passion.
Well, I think
I wasn't employed by them either.
You'd be doing it, yeah, because you were doing trials before you took this job, right?
Sure.
You're on your own,
right?
What is your greatest field trial accomplishment? That if somebody says, Greg, what you've reached the top of this, what would it be for you?
I think I can see that dog right there, which is that painting, is NBA national champion, and that's his Hall of Fame induct. So I owned a dog that won the National Open Championship under a pro's whistle, Tom Waite, but he was inducted in the Hall of Fame 2 years ago. So to get a dog to that point, now, I think any dog that is a champion is a huge accomplishment, especially on the field trial circuit, because you don't accumulate points like in the AKC or like in NASTRA to earn your championship status. You've got to actually win a championship stake. So the Northern Minnesota Cover Dog Championship, if it's labeled a championship and there's 60 dogs in that championship, you've got to win it to be titled a champion. You don't get any points, so you've got to win it. And there are dogs that I would buy in a heartbeat that in their lifetime will never be titled a champion because they never won it.
Is that because of the dog and its genetics, or is that the handler?
That they won't win?
Yeah.
It's because of the luck of the draw, the type of the weather, the course that you're on. It's just, there's so many things that have to come together for you to win that trial. That's now, and there's dogs that maybe shouldn't win them. That'll be the dog of the day, and they'll win it, and they'll have a great run. But there's some dogs
they just had the right gust of wind at the right time, and that was what separated them.
or they don't finish or whatever. So I give props to anyone that are finishing dogs in trials, and especially championships, and then the ones that win it. That's a huge accomplishment. They should be proud. Even runner up is great, but to have one that won the National Open, he was a 3-time national champion, a 1-time regional, and a 1-time national runner up, and then was in the Hall of Fame. So I can be part of that team. And again, I championed him as an amateur in an amateur championship, and Tom won it with the National Open. So
for people that can't see over your shoulder, that aren't watching the video, that are driving the vehicle, what is the breed of dog over your shoulder in the photo?
His call name was Guy. Guy was an English setter. Blair Switch Project. Dr. Alan Dunbar out of the Green Bay area bred him, Grouse Feather Kennels. So, and I can't even think of the year. I'd have to look at the plaque to know what year he won it. 2018 is when he won the National Open.
Such a good looking dog. My goodness. Just standing there looking like $1 million.
And I'll tell you, him and the pointer that I have now I would put them on the prairies against anyone. They were the best wild bird dogs I've ever hunted over. Now, this one won a lot. The setter won a lot. The pointer, he's more of a hunting dog, and field trials aren't his game, but I still enter him anyway.
It's for the love of the game. But what makes it different? So we hear about this all the time, Greg. And before we turn the mic on, you mentioned, how the hunting dog world benefits from the field trial dog world as well. Yep. You live in both of them. So it is possible. You can do both, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't own one if I couldn't hunt over. And I don't get out to hunt as much as I'd like to because of jobs and traveling and stuff. But every September, they sharp-tail hunt, they Hungarian hunt. I'll take them in the cover dog world. If we're up at a championship, I'll hunt them. So, no, they've got to hunt because that's when you can just relax and have a good time. And, those trial dogs, they know when they're hunting. They know when they're field trialing. It's like a track athlete. When you're just going out for a jog with your buddies, or if you're behind, the sticks and you got to run to the end to win. So, they all have noses. Here's the thing that I say is for both. They have to cooperate with you in a field trial, because if you don't finish them at the end of the hour and you can't find them and they ran off and they don't come and go with you, you're not going to win. So most of the dogs that I have, stay with you. So when you hunt, they're just staying with you and they're hunting and they're finding birds and they're retrieving birds. We don't have to retrieve in our field trial game, but I still remember the last bird I shot over a guy, and I killed it and he brought it right to my hand, and that was it. He was done.
When the hunt is on, your dog's performance matters. Every step, every sprint, every retrieve. It takes stamina, strength, and focus, and that starts with what's in their bowl. Black Gold dog food is crafted for active dogs, delivering the balanced nutrition they need to power through the season and beyond. Because a good diet isn't just fuel for today's hunt. It's the foundation for all-season performance. Visit blackgoldpet.com to learn more and find a retailer near you. Black Gold. Unleash adventure.
I get asked all the time about places to hunt in South Dakota. These questions usually come from out-of-town hunters that want the real South Dakota pheasant hunting experience for wild birds. My answer is Aberdeen. Aberdeen is a hub for out-of-town bird hunters. They have dog and hunter-friendly hotels and lodges where you can bring your own dogs and clean your own birds right there on site. They have thousands of acres of public land within a short drive of town, and there are wild pheasants on all of them. I know this because I've hunted several of these properties myself. I've seen those big flushes where the birds get up in waves, and it's awesome. In addition to the state and federal properties, they also have the Aberdeen Pheasant Coalition properties in the area that are open to public hunting. When you look at a map of publicly accessible places to hunt for wild birds in South Dakota and you zoom into the Aberdeen area, You'll see what I mean. To learn more about Aberdeen's pheasant hunting opportunities and get a free hunting guide, head to huntfishsd.com. I live for bird hunting, and I'm guessing that because you're listening to this podcast, that you do too. Well, we all know that you don't have good bird hunting without good habitat. It's just that simple. Few people know more about wildlife habitat and how to create it than the hardworking team at Hoxsey Native Seeds. Hoxsey Native Seeds is family owned and operated. They're as good of people as you'll ever meet. And Nicholas Lirio and Kent Boucher are also my friends. They've provided America's bird hunters with countless acres of premium native habitat mixes sourced straight from their own fields in the heart of Iowa. They have seeds for perennial food plots, quail mixes, pheasant mixes, CRP, even dog-friendly seed mixes. They are my go-to source for all wildlife habitat questions, and they can be your source too. To learn more about their native seeds, when and how to plant them, as well as maintain your premium wildlife habitat, head to HoxseyNativeSeeds.com. That's HOKSEY nativeseeds.com.
Hey, Flush fans, the Minnesota Horse and Hunt Club has expanded into South Dakota. Oak Tree by Horse and Hunt is the ultimate South Dakota pheasant hunting lodge. 15,000 square feet with private bedrooms, 6,000 premier acres, full hospitality and bar, and open to the public. 2-night, 3-day packages September through March are available. Book your next hunt today. Visit huntoaktree.com. That's huntoaktree.com.
So, how old was your dog when he won the title?
Probably 6 or 7. He started his first championship he won when he was 5, and then it kind of snowballed.
When does a dog typically reach its peak?
I would say between 4 and 8.
Okay. How long can they maintain it?
He tore his ACL out in South Dakota, so he stopped hunting or traveling when he was 8 or 9. I would probably say on our level in the walking circuit, you can probably go a little bit longer because you're putting wear and tear on them, but not as hard as some of those bigger running dogs. I would say 8 or 9. They're competitive. Obviously not like they were when they were 2, 3, 4, and 5.
When you say wear and tear, I think, going out to Montana or Oklahoma and hunting bobwhites in some of those conditions, I mean, just what I've seen my dog and how many miles she puts on. And I question myself, am I putting her through too much? Should I not she wants to go, but is that always the right thing? And what does wear and tear on a dog mean to you? And is there a point where you say, we're pulling the plug, she's going back in the box, we need to bring another dog out?
Yeah, wear and tear to me obviously is a little different hunting versus field trialing, because wear and tear, I think of the big picture. When someone puts a dog on a field trial pro string, they're probably with that pro, if not 10, 11, 12 months out of the year, probably 8 to 9 months of the year. So they're getting run, 4 or 5 times a week. They're on the truck, off the truck, on the chain gang, traveling the country, sitting in a truck for 10 hours, going from this place to that place. So there's a lot more wear and tear than actually just on their joints and on their bones. They're basically at college 24/7. Now, us hunting, if you're hunting with a couple buddies or you're fortunate enough to have 3 or 4 dogs, you notice when that dog's slowing down a little bit, needs a break, you take them off, you put them away, you run them the next afternoon versus that morning. So they got like a 12-hour break, and then you skip a day. So we can kind of watch that wear and tear when we're hunting versus a dog that's on the field trial circuit that's, on Sean Kinkler or Luke's truck all the time, running trial to trial to trial. They'll get time off like now until the end of June. Then they'll go back to the prairies and they'll start it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's...
But for the average hunter, probably the average person driving in their vehicle right now, they have 1 dog, maybe 2, the average hunter. Is there a point where they're doing damage to a dog? If let's say I've got my 5 days in North Dakota and I want my dog to hunt every single day because this is my big trip of the year.
Sure.
Is there a point where you say, no, dog, you're hurting your dog by continuing this hunt?
Well, you should be. I mean, you should still have that eye in case you see something come up that I need to put them on the shelf. Now, a lot of that is preseason training, getting them ready for that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And even like, George mentioned in his, there's a lot to physical stamina, mental stamina, the whole mindset of the dog. Does he, come out of the box 100 miles, like you were saying with Daisy, 100 miles an hour, and then come back to you 15 minutes later and just kind of lope around? Or is it a kind of dog that Guy was this way? You cut them loose and they just kind of get into their stride, and that's the way they can go for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
But then you got to know when to put them away. And it's up to us, So, yes, there should be a limit, and you should watch that, because if you're going out there for 5 days and you ruin a dog in the first 2 days, you might as well turn around and come home. So it's kind of really up to us to know the dog. And if the dog's in shape and it has the mental capacity to know when and how to turn it off, you've got a pretty good handle on your dog. So I don't know if there's a rhyme or reason of exactly how many hours per day. Every dog is different.
Well, you heard George and I talk, and you've heard me talk about my dog Daisy coming out hot and just like blowing off the first covey or whatever it is and driving me absolutely insane, Greg. I'm sure you're laughing, you're shaking your head. I got some emails, but I know that I am not the only person that has dog like this, because I have a lot of people that reach out to me. They're like, what are you going to do about it? Because I need to know what to do myself.
Yeah, I don't know how you stop that. And again, a lot of it is mental capacity and knowing what they're out there for. And I see that in a lot of younger dogs, but the older dogs kind of know the drill. You think Daisy wouldn't by now, but
I know.
You would think so, Greg.
You would think so. I mean, she's a 6-year-old dog now, and
she's still in her peak, though.
Yeah, she's great. She has pointed thousands of wild birds. Right. I can honestly say that. I mean, just the amount of birds that she's pointed. I mean, once she gets that one out, she's like, "All right, cool. Let's go. Yeah. I'm on now, Dad." But why? You think she would know not to come out so hot and wear herself off and hurt herself and rip her paws or whatever it might be? But
a lot of that is personality, and like George said, maybe some of it needs to be preseason, going to the steps or the tables or getting her mind. But I think some, and again, like Michael said with Second Chance Bird, a lot of it are like kids. Some kids are just wired to go balls to the wall all the time. Until they get punched in the face and they're like, oh, okay. And then they're like, okay, shake that off and I'll be fine. Yeah. But there's a lot of correlation to that. And, some kids just get it. Some don't. Some takes longer. Some, it just takes longer for them to understand.
Stick with the process is what you're saying, and spend more time out there before the hunt begins working with the dog. I mean, that's really what it is, right?
Some are just apt to do that, but I really like the whole build a foundation on them when they're young, and again, if I'm hunting or you're hunting with me and my dog's out there as a rebel and I can't control it and he doesn't come and go with me and we're chasing the dog and all you're hearing me do is whistle, 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 it's not fun to hunt that way. No. And you're not going to win trials that way. So I was talking to someone last week about, some training seminars and different people. And I'm like, they're all good in the point that they talk about build a foundation. How do you get them out of the truck? How do you walk them to the line? How do you come and go with me? Make sure they're paying attention to you. And then once they get through that middle school, high school, and then you want to put the polish on them, if you want a field trial, if you want a hunt test, if you just want to hunt, they all need that basic. They all need that foundation, or they're going to be that wild child that you're not going to want to hunt behind. So
let's talk about that foundation a little bit, because George and I got into this conversation about how do you trust a training method that's out there. There's a few, there's a lot out there, right? And you're seeing, Greg, the very best genetics in the world in bird dogs, sporting dogs, pointing breeds. And you're also seeing the very top trainers working with these dogs, right? So you've seen it, you know what it looks like, but somebody that has maybe their first bird dog.
Right.
They don't want to mess this up because they're committed for the next decade plus on this dog. How do they know that a method that they're going to choose to build this foundation and work from is the right one for them?
The biggest thing for me is patience. I can sit on the internet and I can flip through all of them, and I don't know who said it, but if you want a dog and you want it for this year's hunting season, and you think you're just going to go buy one in July, you're going to have mistakes. You're going to get railroaded. You're going to get a great one. You don't know. Your odds aren't with you. But if you have patience and say, I want one for next year, I'm going to check out, is it, George and Sonny? Is it Ronnie? Is it George Hickox? Is it Tom Wade? Is it Rod Line? Is it Jordan Ferris? If you have the time and patience to check these people out, even if it's online, and call them and ask questions and ask for referrals, you're going to be so far ahead of the 8 ball that you won't be pulling your hair out as much later down the road, and your odds are better. If you don't have the patience, you're going to make mistakes. There's a lot of, like George says, someone can throw up a website with AI and throw a bunch of videos, and they might have a half-acre lot in, the suburbs of Peoria, Illinois. You just don't know until you see them over and over and dig into it a little further. It's the same for me with guys who are picking stud dogs. A lot of times they're going to pick a dog that looks pretty on the internet, that everyone talks up. Oh yeah, my dog did this and my dog did that. And I've seen some of these dogs, and I'm like, have you seen that dog? So be patient, go and check things out if you have the time, if you have if you don't have the resources, lean on someone like yourself or myself or George who have resources that they can point you towards, or Michael at Second Chance. Like he said, he's got either breeders or rescues. Talk to the people who have the knowledge. Because, like you said, there are a lot of training, but be patient, be consistent, and take your time. Because I've given up on a lot of dogs that probably could have been field trial winners right now. They're great hunting dogs, but I just moved them on because I have no patience, and that's one of my but so be patient. The other thing is, maybe we passed over this, but one of the biggest things is find out what breed of dog or do you want? I mean, do you want to hunt behind a Brittany because they're smaller and they're shorter distance? Do you want to hunt behind a big running pointer, or something in between? Do you want a wire hair for duck? You have to decide that. And if you take your time, you check out different breeds, you check out different trainers, you're going to be way ahead in the long run.
Well, and I think sometimes there are really skilled and great dog trainers that are just starting out. You don't just instantly become Ronnie Smith. It just doesn't happen. You have to build that credibility up. I think a lot of the trainers out there that I talk to that are just getting started or they've been in it for a few years, and I ask them, I say, like, how did you decide which method of training these dogs you're going to start with? And a lot of them say, well, they'll take the Smith method and then they may tweak it a little bit, but that's really the foundation that their whole kennel is built off of. And so, I mean, there are there are quite a few trainers out there and kennels out there, and they all come from somewhere, right? And so they work on building their reputation. They work with dogs, and over time they get to that point. We're looking at, the average hunter is probably looking at maybe 2 or 3 dogs in their lifetime, maybe more. Right. But so they're putting a lot of. I'll just look at some of my neighbors that they've got bird dogs and they've got dogs they just want trained well. And they always ask me, what do you know about this guy? And I'm like, well, it's not like you have, Greg, unlimited time to work with everybody's dog. George Lyle doesn't have unlimited time. Sonny Picars, Jordan Wells. These guys do not, there's a limited space in their kennel for how many dogs they can take on.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to eventually pick somebody to work with if that's the route you're going to go, or a method some of the original books that have been written out there. You probably have some of them, Greg. I mean,
Yeah.
where did you start on your first dog?
Was actually, it kind of goes along the lines of your interview with Ken, is when I bought my short hair, I bought him at a sports show here in Wisconsin, and the gentleman at the kennel was heavily involved in shoot to retrieve, NASTRA. So he took me under his wing and said, "Hey, just come out to the kennel, plant birds for us, keep score." And so it was a mentor-mentee kind of relationship, but I'm very competitive. I played sports all my life, in college, whatever, and I wanted the competition. So, hey, I can compete with my dog. I'm doing it. So he was kind of a mentor to me. So, and then he introduced me to a trainer, and then my high school buddy's cousin was a trainer here in Southeast Wisconsin that I've been with since 2002 or 3 or 4. And a lot of times when you find a method, or you might not even know what the methods are. I mean, if someone gets a brand new pointing dog, they might not know the Smith method, the method with Jordan and George. They might not know the clicker method. They might not know what a woe post is versus a swing versus a barrel. A lot of times it's relationship with that trainer. If you click with him or her and you can ask the questions and you feel like you're getting an honest reaction or answer, their way to skin the cat is going to probably get you the same results as Ronnie Smith or, whoever. So if you're always pulling your hair out with your trainer and you're not getting the answers that you want and you don't believe them, that's not going to work either. So kind of pick that person too.
Is it fair to say that if you're going to buy a puppy from somebody, the best advice would be to go and spend time with the parents of that dog beforehand to kind of see the potential that might be coming out of that litter? Is that
Sure.
realistic though for most people? And would most trainers, kennels allow that?
Yeah, but I don't know if you can wait until that litter is quote unquote announced or on the ground, because you're not going to see that female work. She's going to be taking care of puppies. That male might not even be, that might be a frozen semen, or they might have fresh chilled shipped it in, or they might have traveled 8 hours to see that dog. There's a lot that you can see on, wins or history or videos on males that aren't around. But yeah, I mean, ask around. I mean, ask people who have dogs from that line. We all know that puppies are a crapshoot. I mean, they can be 8 of them and 4 of them work out for, hunters, and 2 are good field trial dogs. And, one's going to be the runt of the litter. That could turn out to be great down the road. But there again, it's patience. But if they have a good, solid foundation, like, Steve mentioned with Top Gun, I mean, they have a different mentality for their gun dog clientele. Unbelievably solid foundation of pedigrees and dogs. So your odds are better there than the olden days, and I'm aging myself, of looking in the classifieds in the newspaper or looking on Facebook Marketplace. And be smart about it. But yes, if you can see them, most definitely go see them. Is that going to be exactly like Steve said, what the puppies are going to be like? No, but you have a pretty good inkling of what they're going to be like. There might be one rebel in the group, and there might be one runt in the group. Again, just like our families. But yes, if you can do it, do it. If the stud dog's not around, ask around, or check them out online. Because some of the top stud dogs in the country that some of these people are breeding to, you can find out a lot about them that are legit online, or people who have bred to them.
What do you think the chances are of, and I have a friend who picked up a puppy, a pointer, off a classified ad. He just drove to Iowa and picked this dog up, and it was just on a whim, and he just saw this, and it's a great dog, but he's really taking a risk there, not knowing much about it. His dad got one as well, and Sonny Picars spent a couple days with the 2 dogs, and he's like, that one has the it. Same litter, same litter, litter mates, and that one has the it. He would be on my chain.
Sure.
And I would take him around the country to the best dog or best lodges in the country, when he trained down at the Mariposa Ranch down in Texas and Quail Country. He's like, that dog has it. And that was just a classified ad dog down in Iowa. So what are if you did it 10 times from a highly respected, genetics are solid, the stud, and I mean, just everything lines up perfectly for this pair to make a great litter. And then you get the random guy who had an accidental breed down. And it's like,
I mean, again, it's genetics, and I give those breeders a lot of credit because I don't want to touch that. But the percentage of now, let me back up. How old were they when Sonny evaluated them or saw them?
Probably 6 months.
Okay, yeah, he'd have
5
a good.
months.
Yeah, he'd have a good understanding what they're like.
Yep.
Yes, your odds are probably not going to be the greatest, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. I'll preface it with this: is you're right. I've seen a lot of the best of the best. I've had a lot of started dogs that aren't going to make the shooting dog or the all-age circuit that they said, oh, it'll make a great walking dog for you. They don't live here anymore. I've gotten rid of a lot of those. So even though they're bred the best of the best, they're great hunting dogs. They're great plantation dogs. I just today saw a dog that I moved on. I won't say cut. Didn't think he'd make it for me, and I traded him at a plantation in Alabama for a dog to be named later, a cocker, and just saw him online. The guy trained and looks like $1 million. I mean, he looks like $1 million. That was 2 years ago when I got rid of him. But he said he's going to be a great plantation dog for us. He could probably stretch out a little bit, but we love him. So it was like, and he was bred the best of the best. So what I'm looking for and what someone else is looking for is a little bit different, but your odds are going to be less, yes, going by a backyard breeder, quote unquote. But some of those can be diamonds.
Right.
You never know.
Yep, totally. I've seen some amazing dogs that came from the backyard breeder. 40 years sure is a long time to be in business, and that's exactly how long Walton's has been helping America's butchers, hunters, anglers, and families prepare their meat. That is quite a milestone, and to that, I say, Walton's, congratulations on 40 years in business to your entire family. I sincerely hope that you know how hard they work to provide all of us with the right tools to process and prepare all of our hard-earned meat. Walton's motto is everything but the meat for a reason. They have everything we need to process every cut of meat you can think of, and after a long hunting season, I'm hoping you have a freezer full of it. If you're looking to make sausage, jerky, snack sticks, roast, you name it, Walton's can help you with the tools and the knowledge to do it right the first time. Check them out at waltons.com. And congratulations on 40 years in business. You've earned our trust. If you're looking to sharpen your upland shooting skills, or maybe your kids are starting to get into the sport like mine are, then you need to check out GAIM. That's GAIM. Our friends over there are changing the way we approach training. Their cutting-edge virtual reality hunting and shooting scenarios immerse you in the field without actually leaving your home. Whether it's game birds or clays, the GAIM system allows you to practice your shotgun mechanics, giving you real-time shot feedback that allows for instant adjustments. And it's been incredibly fun for my kids. It allows them to safely build confidence, which I know translates to success in the field. Virtual training, real results. Click the show description below to learn more, or visit their website at game.com to try for yourself. That's GAIM.com.
If you're heading out on the next hunt, don't forget the teammate who never complains and never misses, your dog. At Roughland, we built the ultimate travel system for hunting dogs and the people who run with them. It starts with our one-piece kennels, built tough to handle rough roads, cold mornings, and whatever else the season throws at you. From there, customize your system with stackable gear, food and water containers, organization trays, or insulated covers. Everything is lightweight, field-tested, and made right here in the USA. Because let's be real, we don't deserve great dogs, but great dogs, they deserve a Roughland. Visit roughlandkennels.com today and build your version of the ultimate travel system before your next flush.
Here's a scouting tip that might just help you find a few more wild birds. First, grab your phone and then open up the OnX Hunt app. In the bottom right corner, click on the 2D button and then select 3D. Then place 2 fingers on the screen of your phone and slide them up together at the same time. After that, zoom into a property that you've hunted before or one that you've never been to and take a look at the terrain in 3D. I bet you'll see a few nooks and crannies that will hold birds out of the elements. I bet you'll see the land in a dimension that you never thought possible. These are the details that matter when you're putting miles on the truck and on your boots during a hunt. OnX Hunt is the ultimate tool for us bird hunters. It shows our position on planet Earth, land boundaries, land topography, birds, forests that have been logged, weather, and a whole bunch of other features that will make you a better hunter. If you've never tried the OnX Hunt app, then you can download a free 7-day trial to help you understand why hunters like myself simply can't hunt without it. Know where you stand with OnX Hunt. You and I have both hunted and spent time in the field with a variety of different dog breeds. We can get controversial if you want to about which breeds are better. Everyone's dog is the best dog. Okay, we'll just say that right now so that everyone listening, you have the best dog. Yours is the best out there for sure.
These are strictly our own opinions.
These are our own opinions here. And I've said this for years, that watching different dogs in the field with different dog breeds, I should say, in different hunting situations, next to different dog breeds working at the same time, they're completely different skill sets out there. These are different strengths and weaknesses of different dogs. When I have to imagine, you get this question, what's the best dog breed out there, Greg? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. And if you're asking me that question, mine is, for my income, they all have to eat. So I don't care which dog you pick.
Yeah.
It goes back to what I said earlier is you've got to pick what you want to do for your hunting, for your game, for your family, where it's going to be. For me, it's a pointer, bar none. I mean, I don't know if I'd go back to a setter. That'd be my second choice. But right now, it's a pointer, English pointer. But if I was...
Hold on, explain why.
Because I know what they can do hunting-wise, and my odds of winning in a field trial are probably a little bit higher in the game that I play. So... and they don't need to be shaved like the setters do. They're a little more lower maintenance. They're great house dogs. I love the power and the intensity of a pointer.
Yeah, I do too. I know you see it and you're like, when you see a good English pointer out there, rip a point on the side of a hill, it just is like, it sends goosebumps. I mean, but you said something interesting there. They're great house dogs because pointers have such a reputation as being unlovable dogs. They're just business. They don't, but I see it differently. I know so many of them that are really good house dogs.
It's exposure. It's exposure. You expose those dogs to the house like any other. My wife's got a Shih Tzu now that, when you bring them in the house, you teach them where their kennel is. You teach them where they can go. When they can't, you do that with a pointer. They curl up next to the fireplace like a setter does. I mean, they were great with my daughter when they were younger. It's exposure. Now, the dogs I have now don't come in the house until they're either retired or injured. Like Guy, when he tore his ACL, he was my office buddy. He just laid right here the whole time. Never lived in the house in his life. Lived on a truck or lived in my kennel and came in and was a perfect gentleman. But yet pointers are, and typically they're a little bit finer bone and skinnier and tight. They can curl up in the ball and sit right next to you. So no, they get a bad rap, but I love them. Yeah.
You mentioned that field trials have a great impact on the hunting dog world. Explain that.
Definitely. Field trials were developed to, we say, improve the breed. So if there wasn't a group of field trialers or hunt test people or NASTRA or NAVDA out there pushing these pointing dogs to their limits and testing them and seeing what kind of dogs they've got, all we would have are backyard breeders that don't know what they're breeding. So we are, I say it's kind of like creating that professional athlete, then that Olympic athlete. And, you know, you put two great animals together that have proven stamina, nose, mental capacity, and you're breeding the best of the best. You're going to get the curve is you're going to get probably breed down, but you want to breed the best. If we keep breeding down and we're not testing them, we don't know what we're going to get. We're going to get health issues. We're going to get mental issues. We're going to get, dogs that are not in the, conformation size standards. So we tried to get those canine athletes to show the community, hey, this dog is an endurance dog. This dog has won an invitational, a 2-hour trial, a 1.5-hour trial. He's got the heart, he's got the lung capacity, he's got a great nose. You guys should be breeding to this dog. So that's where it can help the hunting community. And when we have a litter of pups that are field trial bred, quote unquote, we all know that there might be 2 or 3 that are field trials. The other 4, 5, or 6 are going to be amazing hunting dogs. So
what separates though, because I hear a lot of trialers say it's going to be a great hunter, just not a field trialer. What separates the two? Can you differentiate that for us?
Sure. I'll use this dog as an example that I just saw today. His sire was the Purina dog of the year over and over and over. Developing him, he didn't run. He didn't have the independence to get out there and go and check things out. He just loved to hang out with me. When he would point, he'd be a little bit lower in the front, which showed a ton of intensity, a ton. But in field trialing, we're putting on a show and it's a beauty contest and we want him high and tight, both ends. He was a little bit low in the front and he flagged a little bit. But here again, I didn't give him a lot of time. He was 9 months, a year old at the time. But so I saw certain characteristics there that I'm like, you know what? He's got a great nose. He likes to stay with you. He's not going to hit an edge and take it out of the country and win a field trial for me. He's going to be a perfect plantation dog or a hunting dog or, a hunt club dog up here. So there are standards that we look for or capabilities or characteristics that we look for in field trial dogs that are way above, again, that will help improve the breed. That if we don't see it young, we're not going to waste some of us are not going to waste our time on dogs like that. Now,
right away, don't you?
I think I do. And again, my trainer says I have no patience because cut dogs too early, but I don't have a kennel where I can keep 5 or 6 dogs until they're 3, 4, 5 years old to find out if they're winners. And I travel a lot and my wife's not home. So it's like, I need to make a decision pretty quick. And hopefully since this dog guy passed away, it's been 3 years, 4 years. I've been chasing my tail to try and find a good one. And I've gone through probably 4 or 5. I think I've got 1, maybe 2 on now. So it takes a while. But no, we can see, and they're really good, well-bred. They're great noses, great family dogs, and just would be good for the hunting community.
How does somebody get so immersed into it like you? I mean, you can't get enough of this? You'd need to see all these tests. I mean, how do you get this in depth into it?
I remember when I interviewed for this position at Purina, I kept using the word passion to a point where I'm thinking, these people are thinking I'm nuts. But it's like I love the outdoors. I grew up on somewhat of a farm. I love animals. It's the right time in my life. I can travel. I can see it. I still get goosebumps watching a dog on point if it's Nastra, Nabda, Brittany. I mean, to me, there's nothing better than cutting a dog loose and just seeing them hang out on an edge and swap ends and point, and you take 5 minutes to walk up to them, and the birds are there. They did it right. Now, some of them don't do it right. But anyway, I just love it. And the people are amazing. It's the group. I mean, the hunting community, the testing community, we meet a lot of great people and a lot of great kennels. I also see a lot of dog performances that I'll never forget. Most people, I'm blessed. I mean, this is truly my dream job. It's
Very
amazing.
cool. That's so
Yeah.
cool to hear that you got it. I love it.
And
What
then there's
does it?
I see some dogs I wouldn't feed either. Well, I'd still feed them, but they'd be laying next to me in my office.
They're not hunters. They just don't have it in them. Well, what does it take then to reach the pinnacle? You've got the genetics. Mom and dad were great trialers. They've got the genetics passed down. Now what? Because I think you can apply this to somebody who wants to have a great bird dog to hunt behind out in North Dakota or the North Woods of Michigan or whatever.
Sure.
You know, you want to enjoy the hunt with your dog. Well, then it's going to take some time. But what does it take to be the best, to get the very best out of your dog, for them to reach the pinnacle?
You have to be committed to it. I mean, I've come across some people that, they dip their toe in, then they get frustrated, and then they come out. Field trialing, and I'll separate field trialing from hunt test or NABDA where you're testing. It's, I won't say cutthroat, it's a discouraging sport because you could go all season and not win anything. But what we always say is if you enjoyed yourself, you enjoyed the people, you came off the field and you learned something there, you're committed to it and you're committed to coming back. You need to be committed to it for year over year over year. The dog that I've got now, the pointer that I've got now, won the NBHA National Futurity, which is a 2-year-old, the 2-year-olds. And honestly, Travis, he hasn't won since. And he's 7, 8, but he's a great hunting dog. He's a great producer. He's a great house dog when I bring him in. He's a cool personality, but I'm committed to the game. I'm committed to the sport. I'm committed to having fun and competition. If you're not committed to it, you'll get frustrated real quick because 7 times out of 10, the judges probably won't pick you. And there again, trialing is a judge's opinion. There are no scores. In NASTRA, you get a score. And if you get 4 birds, you're going to beat who's got 3 birds. But in field trialing, it's a judge's opinion on, I like that dog, and that dog, first, second, third. And you could walk for years of not placing ever. But
what are they looking for specifically that says, I like that one, and that one?
Well, they've, on the broke dog stake, all the dogs have to, let's just say it's a weekend trial. It's a 30-minute course. It's not a field. You're going on a walking course. The dog's got to find the bird, stand steady in the wing and shot on a blank. No retrieving. And then they send them on. You can't back cast. You got to go forward and find the next bird. They're looking for drive. They're looking for style. They're looking for them hitting the edge, staying out front. They don't want a 50, 75, 100-yard dog that's just zigzagging in front of them. They want independence, power. They want them to look pretty, look good, hopefully no flagging on point, steady doing and shot, backing when it's required. You don't have to back, but you can lose on back. If you don't back and you interfere, then you're picked up and you're done.
I was going to say, you can't, as a handler, you can't say anything to like a whoa to get it to stop. Yeah, during the back. Yeah.
I will, if I know my dog is edgy on backing and I'm not sure and I'm close enough to see it and talk to him, I'm going to talk to him, because if I don't and he goes in there and busts it, then I'm picked up anyway. If I can get him to stop by my verbal, the judge would be okay.
That's kosher. That's fine. You can do that.
It's fine, but they're not going to, someone else can do it better. So the judge is going to look at this weekend trial, 30-minute course. You might have 18 dogs, so you've got 9 braces. At the end of the 9 braces, they're going to pick first, second, and third on who they liked. What dogs stayed to the front, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, went around the courts, didn't backcast, didn't come through the gallery, looked really good on the birds, located their game well, didn't rode in, circle it, stop, relocate. So they're looking for the whole package, and it's their opinion. It's totally their opinion. So sometimes you get to the higher and higher trials, you'll see who the advertised judges are, and you'll be like, I know they don't like my style of dog. Let's not go to Southern Illinois. Let's go over to Iowa.
Really? You base your trials based on the judges that are going to be there?
As my trainer said, if I had to pick and choose the judges I like, I wouldn't be going to any trials. So, We don't. We compete. We believe in our dogs.
Yeah.
We believe every dog has its day. And if we keep as they say, drop the tailgate and we keep running them, we enjoy it. We enjoy the camaraderie. But you have to be committed to it, to field trial, and win at the top. I mean, again, you could go years without. That's why I said when we started this, someone to secure a championship title on a field trial dog is a huge accomplishment because so many things have to go right, and it's a judge's.
Right. Wow. So let's talk about hunt tests and field trials and how they have created really great hunting dogs, based on just what we see, genetics and things like that.
Sure.
Are there certain breeds that might be trending up statistically or down based on results and genetics over time? Because you've been in this a while now. I mean, there's trends. There's certain dogs, like a couple years ago, I would say was the year of the setter. Everybody wanted a setter, right? They're a beautiful dog. But statistically, when it comes to these hunt tests and the skills that these dogs possess, if somebody's listening right now and they're like, gosh, I'm on the fence on which breed, I might be thinking a setter, I might be thinking GSP, might be thinking Labrador Retriever, whatever it might be. Are there some that are just like, these dogs today are really genetically on the rise? There's great genetics in America right now because of certain breeds.
Sure. And again, I'll leave the retrievers and the hounds and stuff out of it. You're right on the setter push. That was back when Shadow Oak Bow won the national championship 2 years in a row. And everybody thought, I'm going to get a setter. I'm going to get a setter. I'm going to get a setter. And it kind of watered everything down.
Was that bad for the breed?
I don't think it was bad for the breed. I don't think he reproduced the champions that the number of times that he was bred, the percentage of champions out of that breeding, there's other dogs that are much, much higher than that. But
was it bad for it to be bred or that many times for that one dog?
I think it kind of watered down a lot of pedigrees.
Really?
What we saw is the second generation of Bo, like a female granddaughter of him, produced a lot. So we didn't see it for years. The one thing that Bo was great, he had a nose, and you can't beat a nose on a dog. That's why he won the national at Ames, is he went out there and just found bird after bird. He outbirded everybody. And Shoot to Retrieve has a lot of Shadow Oak Bow blood in them because they're on a 40-acre field. They want that nose, boom, 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 here, bird, bird, bird. They had a lot of good success. So it kind of depends on what venues. The field trial community didn't reap the benefits of Bo, I don't think, for a couple generations, because I think the females after his granddaughters produced a lot better. So I don't know if to say it had a drag on it. It just kind of changed the focus of the setter breed a little bit. I would say the strongest, I shouldn't even say the strongest, one of the stronger breed is still the GSP, the short hair. If you look at NASTRA, if you look at NAVDA, the testing National American Versatile Hunting Dog Association, the short hairs are the top breed there. NASTRA has a lot of great short hairs in Shoot to Retrieve. The GSPCA and the NGSPA, which are the two national short hair organizations for field trialing, one AKC and one UKC, have amazing dogs. So
statistically, you're more likely to get a great hunting companion if you go with a GSP than any other breed out there.
I knock on wood. I think a short hair is a great bet. A great bet. I mean, I started with one. They're bigger dog. They're tougher. They can do water. They typically retrieve, and they're very solid on their breeding. And the conformation side of the short hair hasn't bled over to the short hair to kind of skew it a little bit. The Brittany's are really good at that as well. They keep their show and their hunting dogs and their field trial dogs pretty tight, pretty close. And there's not if you see a pointer at Westminster, an English pointer, and you see one in the field, they look like totally two different breeds. The short hairs and the Brittany's have done a really good job of blending that hunting and conformation together. So even the Brittany's are really good, but I would go with the short hair. But there again, find out what you like because there's a lot of really good breeds out there.
You say that the GSP statistically is going to be your best bet, and yet you've got a national champion with a setter, and you currently have pointers. So,
Yeah.
what make it make sense, Greg?
Can't turn my camera around because I'm looking at my 2005 National Regional Champion is rookie, my first short hair. So I won with him as well. But
Okay.
then when I got asked to judge a field trial outside of shoot to retrieve, and I started to run an American field, and there aren't short hair clubs around here, and short hairs kind of have their own field trialing across the country and their own two clubs. My area was setters and pointers. And and I fell in love with pointers.
Yeah.
In 2008 is when I stopped running shoot to retrieve. But I won with him. So I'm pretty proud of him too.
Yeah. No,
So-
I'm madly in love with both setters and pointers. Those are the two that to me have risen to the top. I can't get enough of them. I've seen so many of them hunt, and their drive, their nose, their ability to hunt and to approach cover perfectly, to just stand it. I mean, I have seen it so many times play out that to me, I don't know. I look at him and I say, like, that's a sports car. That's a Ferrari out there. And it looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, when I saw Daisy, I thought the same. I didn't know that she was kind of a mix until from Onyx told me. And I'm like, no, she's got the intensity of a pointer too. So
Yeah.
between Ben and I, we can help you out.
Right. Greg, I tell you, I have looked at, I'm close. I'm very close, I think,
All right.
to bringing home another dog to add to the pack, because Daisy can't put on the miles. I'm worried about the miles. And I think, we're over an hour into this conversation already, so we won't dig into the nutrition side of it. I'm going to, maybe Ruth Ann and I can dig into nutrition and some of that too. But, just thinking about the wear and tear, all the miles my dog has put on over the last 5 years of hunting, I think it's a great thing. But I think it's going to keep her young. That's because I'm out there putting the miles on too. And I think it keeps me young as well, Greg. I don't know if I'm right there or not, but it's better than laying around.
You need to run around with her for the first 15 minutes and blow off some steam yourself and then see how she feels. But I think you'd have a great time with another one, and time is probably right.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, we're really close to it. Is there one final thought here before we wrap this up? I could talk about dogs all day. I'm fascinated by it. I mean, you really got me down this idea of thinking about the beagles and the herders and the different dogs. But it's just a reminder to us that these dogs are so skilled that we have today. That we are so fortunate to have these breeds that have the ability that we barely, for the most part, most of us barely scratch the surface on what our dog can do out there. Exactly. And it's what we put into them that ultimately will help them reach the pinnacle of what their mom and dad genetically gave them, right?
Right. And like I said earlier, sometimes what we can put into them is basically just being patient with them. Be committed to them, find out what breed's best for you, be patient with them. And if it fits your needs, be it hunting, be it the grouse hunting, be it sharp tails, be it field trialing, you're going to have so much joy. I mean, it's brought so much joy. I mean, the places I've been and seen and got to meet like yourself and people all across the country, even if you just do it at your local hunt club, you're going to meet a lot of great people, but be patient and don't rush thing.
Yep. And being around other people with bird dogs, whether it's your local PF, QF chapter, Rough Grouse Society, or whatever it might be, or go to a hunt test or anything, the more people that you're around, the more you see, the more you can learn and ask questions. And before you know it, you just really get a grasp for what's out there. And if you're looking, I've had so many people, Greg, I know you have too, that ask, I'm looking for a dog. Which one should I get? And I'm like, oh gosh, how much time do you got right now? What do you want to do? But ultimately it's a personal choice for everybody. But the more questions people ask, the more prepared they are to make a wise decision for themselves. So I think that's a great thing to do. And it's just like looking online at some of the different trainers or different kennels out there and ask questions, go visit them, and you'll know when it feels right. You'll just know.
Yeah.
And
right.
there's people out there that have the knowledge. And when somebody has knowledge in the bird dog world and they start talking to you and you watch their dogs and you see what their dogs are doing, you'll say, yeah, that's right. That's perfect for me and my family.
Right. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And it's a commitment of a lifetime for that dog. I think George said it as well. It's not just send them out 1 year, get the training, bring them back, and you can just open the door every time. No, you need to, tune them up or get them in shape or be committed to that dog.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Greg, I appreciate your time. I'd like to do this again because we just scratched the surface. We could really get into a lot more details with the dogs. I think if people are listening right now and they want to know more about Greg's world, the field trial, the field trial world, the hunt test world, the different breeds that are out there, if there's anything that you're listening to specifically that you want us to talk further about, please just reach out. Let me know. We want to produce episodes that you want to hear us talk about. So Greg has a wealth of knowledge. His team does as well. We're going to get into the nutrition side of things as well in future episodes coming up. Hunting season, believe it or not, is going to be here pretty quick. And we're all building up to that point, and we're here to help you do that as well. Big Al, you nailed it today. I mean, you were just your questions.
I know. I was really I was letting you talk. You guys were talking about important stuff that was way above my pay grade.
No foreplay today. We just got right to the business side of it. Greg, I appreciate you and your time, and we'll definitely stay in touch. Right. We'll be back next week. Al, we'll be back next week.
I don't know. You tell me. I hope so.
All right. Next week, Thursday, another episode of the Flush Podcast. We'll see you then.